Welcome to Make Your Mark podcast, where guests share their experiences, insights, and tactics to help you accelerate your business. So, building, scaling, and monetizing your business is made easier. And I will be your host, Patti Zorr. Guys, oh my goodness, I have the most amazing guest for you this week. Wow, her name is Patti Zorr. She is a book marketing expert, and she's helped entrepreneurs, speakers, and coaches all over the world leverage their books to increase reach, credibility, and influence. So please welcome on stage Patti. Oh my goodness, Patti, I am super excited to have you on this show. I have been waiting for so long to get you on here, and so finally we've got you here, and we're really going to get into the nitty-gritty of why book marketing is so important. But before we get into all of that, Patti, first of all, I'd love for you to say hi to the audience and then tell us a little bit about your journey, your background, how you got to the point that you are in business today.
Yeah, Kate, thank you so much for having me. I am just thrilled to be here. I love talking about this stuff and really, truly just helping those who are writing a book. I really want them to listen to this and so that they can really start to set themselves up for success
Mm-hmm.
while they're writing their book, even while you're thinking about your book, right? Marketing starts way in advance before you even publish your book. So I'm excited to do this today.
Fantastic. I'm excited too because I feel like people forget about the marketing bit of it, right? They
Yeah.
get the book published, they think about the content, the cover of the book, the title of the book, and they totally miss the marketing aspect of it, right? So, which is the most important thing when you've got your book out there. But Patti, I know, and I'm sure many of us know, that when you're starting a business, you're building it, you're scaling it, it doesn't just happen with a click of a finger, right? There's a journey that we all go down, and it
Yeah.
takes years for us to build it up. So I'd love for you to share with our audience today what your journey was like and how you got to this point in business.
Absolutely. Yes. So I've always loved marketing. I majored in marketing in university. I had been a marketing manager in the corporate world. I worked in the corporate world in marketing for well over 20 years. And it was really early into 2019 that I had decided to leave my cubicle jungle and head off to become a marketing consultant for other business owners and entrepreneurs. And it's something I had been thinking about for a little while, and yet finally made the leap in 2019. And funny, I made some mistakes along the way, I think, as we all do as we are starting our businesses. And just like authors, writing books isn't a business, but selling them is. And unfortunately, there's just a lot of things that we think we need. And just like when you start a business, you think you need to be all places all the time, right? We need, all of these different tools and programs, and that's really not the case. And it's really just starting simple. So when I started my business, I started working with authors, speakers, and coaches, and a lot of them were writing a book. So we were putting their strategies and timeline and marketing plans together. Some of these clients actually received six-figure advances from major publishing houses. And what was really interesting is those clients who had written a book before, who were receiving these large advances, were having these calls with these publishing companies. And they're really looking to us as far as, okay, what's your plan?
Mm.
That what was so surprising to me is that even though these publishing houses were making huge investments into these authors, they don't do anything to really help the author market, promote, and sell their books. They will help the author get their books into bookstores, get it published online. They help with, editing and formatting and all of those things. But when it comes to marketing, promotion, selling books, it's really left up to the author. And as I started working with additional coaches and speakers, I started learning more about KDP and realized, wow, with Amazon KDP, really anybody can publish a book. They make it so easy. You can edit a book, you can find people to help you format it, you could do it yourself, but KDP is there to help you publish it and get it listed online. But yet, just because you publish a book, you still have to have a plan for how you're going to sell your book. And so that's where I come in and really help authors and really, teach them and show them the way. And throughout my journey, I've learned a lot of things along the way. And I'm just so excited and so passionate about this and just want to help all those who are writing a book, because like I had mentioned earlier, it's something marketing, you really need to start it well before your book launch date.
Right. Okay. That is awesome. 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 Now, I've got a few questions here for you, Patti, right? Just to kind of clear things up. I know there's a lot of people that are asking questions about book, like, when should a business owner write and publish and start marketing a book? Should it be right from the beginning when they get the first idea? How soon should that even happen?
Yeah. So I would say, I think authors really have a calling to
Mhm.
write a book. I do think anybody who has some sort of proprietary knowledge, if there's something that you teach, right? You own a business, especially if you're a coach, right? There's something that that is likely proprietary to you that you teach to your clients. That is a book. If you have a course, that's a book. You can take any course, and especially with programs like, Otter AI, right? You could actually have your course just play out, have Otter AI up, and voila, you actually have your book started. But a great way to think about a book, it's really just the bottom of your value ladder, right? It's a very low barrier to entry for potential clients to come and work with you. So, and what I mean by that is, right, the cost of a book, we'll say it's $15 on average, right? We'll just throw a number out there. So you've got several hundred pages of your knowledge, built, into these words. You're teaching people, you're changing lives, you're helping people transition from one place to another, and they're consuming all of this content. Now you want to set that book up so it becomes a tool so you can then help readers take that next step with you, whether it's maybe there's a workbook, maybe there's some video training, a course, coaching, mastermind summits, right? Really, the sky is the limit, but a book can lead to all of those things for your business.
See, that's amazing. I love that you're just being completely raw and real here, right? Because I feel like a lot of people start a book because they think, oh my goodness, I'm going to be a millionaire. Let's publish a book,
Oh,
right? But you mentioned that's the bottom of the ladder for your business, right? So can
yes.
you explain that kind of misconception and just clear things up a little bit more for us there?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked that. Okay. So here's the cold hard truth. Okay. So I threw a number out. Let's say you have a book, you sell it for $15. You got to pay people to publish your book. Now you can sell it yourself. And we can talk about that in a little bit, but let's say you publish it through KDP. So you're going to have to, KDP is going to want to take their share of fees. So you're going to walk away and make maybe $5 a book, let's say. Well, the average author sells 250 books in their lifetime. So that's 1,200 bucks, $1,200. You've likely invested way more than that in the time it took you to write the book, edit the book, format the book, and finally publish the book, right? To make $1,200 in a lifetime. That's awful.
Right.
The good news is that once you have a book, you're always, always, always marketing your book. And there's some different things that I love to do with my authors to really help set them up for long-term success. Because what it can feel like, when you launch your book, it sort of feels like the grand finale, right? You've spent years writing this book, and finally you publish it, and then it feels like, okay, it's like a wedding, right? It's like the celebration. And I like to explain it as it's really almost like having a baby. Like the fun's really just about to begin. You're only just getting started.
Right. Okay. And so You mentioned previously also that you should be marketing your book before it's even published, before it's even written, right? And so I'm assuming that is something like a pre-launch. And so what does that even look like to start marketing and promoting before you've even written a book? And I know people are probably going to be so afraid, so scared to even mention it to anybody because they haven't put pen to paper yet.
Absolutely. So there's a couple things you can do. First of all, bring your followers along with you on the journey, right? Let them know your highs and lows when it comes to writing, where you're stuck, where you like to write. Just post about that. Put it in your stories. Um, put it on your social content. If you're brave enough to do lives occasionally, right? Just let people know where you're at. I'm writing this book. I'm stuck here. Maybe you can even like survey your audience, right? If maybe you're feeling stuck on a chapter, it could be a great opportunity for research. So that's one way. Just get your audience involved as much as you can. Even once you have the cover, right? Let's say you're trying to decide on a couple of cover designs and you can't pick one, or maybe you know which one you want. But go ahead and like put those out there and let your audience vote, right? We all love to give our opinion, right? Social media, it's all about, right? Everybody loves to give their opinion on social media. So even if you already know what direction you're going, put it out there. You never know. You might actually learn something along the way. Like I said, social media is a great place to do research while you're writing your book. And people love to give their opinions. Something else you could do is, as you have a couple of chapters ready and you feel like, oh, these are really juicy and there's like so much good information in here, I suggest start sharing those chapters. Just share one chapter, right? Just, you can do it in the DMs. You don't have to just put it out there in the wild, wild west. Unless you want to, you can do that too. The key behind that is you want to fan gate it, meaning that you're going to make people opt in first in order to get access to that chapter. So now you're starting to build up your database of potential readers. And, now you're sharing some of the content that's in the book and people are getting excited. You're starting to whet their appetite a little bit, right? Leave them wanting more. So now once the book is published, now you've got this group of people who have already had a little bit of a taste, who are excited, right? And in the meantime, you can email them. What did you like about the chapter? What questions did you have? Um, maybe you can even ask them, would you write me an early review on that chapter? And you can use all of that in your marketing. Here's what early readers are starting to say. So that's another great thing I love to do is share a free chapter. Just make sure you fan gate it, ask for that name and email so that you're identifying who those early readers are and you're building up your email list. And then the other thing you could do is an advanced reader campaign, or some people like to call it a launch team. And this is a program, there's a little bit more involved here, but essentially make a list of people in your network, colleagues that you know, people that you've met online on Facebook groups and networking groups at speaking events, right? If you sit down, I bet you can come up with 25 people who are either your ideal reader or have an audience that contains your ideal reader. If you really sit down and think about it, you can do it, right? If you think of everyone you know in your network, from neighbors, friends, families, colleagues, and again, and just think about online networking groups that you're in. And what you could do is, there's a couple things to this actually. A really great way to go about this is, first, you want to make sure your book is available for pre-order. And what you can do is you can ask your advanced readers, hey, would you pre-order my book? But when you do that, I'm going to send you some really special gifts. And it could be, maybe it's access to a course that you have. Maybe it's you're going to offer some kind of one-on-one coaching or group coaching, again, depending on how big that network is that you want to reach out to. So give them something of value in exchange for them buying your book, right? Again, these are people in your network, so you're not putting it out there to the whole world. What's happening now, one of those gifts that you're going to give them is an advanced digital copy of the book. So again, you're going to fan gate it, right? You're going to have them buy the book, come back, put their name and their order number in. Now they've only pre-ordered the book, so they're not going to get access to it right away, but you're going to give them now a digital copy of the book so they can start to read it. And I recommend doing this about 30 to 45 days before your launch date. So now you've got a pool of people who've read your entire book. They've also pre-ordered the book. And now when launch day comes, you've got some sales that are starting to happen.
Yeah.
All of those people who have already read your book, now you could ask them, hey, would you mind going in and writing a review? It's my launch day today. And really what you want to do is you want to keep touch base with those people at least like once a week, right? Your advanced readers, let them know how reading's coming along. Do they have any questions? And then come launch week, say, hey, now that you've had a chance to read my book, would you mind going back and just writing a review? And so now launch day comes, you've got some sales that are happening, right, from those pre-orders. And now you've got some verified reviews that are coming in, which the algorithm is loving, which now helps your book to get served organically in searches during your launch week.
Oh, wow. All of that was amazing, Patty. Oh my goodness. So there is so much that you can do prior to even the launch, right? And I'm
Yes,
sure there's
yes.
a lot more. You've just kind of mentioned some of them. I'm sure there's a lot more that can be done too. And again, I love the fact that you said, you know what? Get on social media, keep posting, ask questions. I guess even creating some sort of a Facebook group for those early readers, right? Start building your network.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've had some authors do that and create, just a private group for their advanced readers. And they would show up once a week and just give value and serve those readers. And the other thing too, is you can even ask those advanced readers to start posting on your behalf and sharing with their audience. Because remember, you gave them some gifts,
Yeah.
you gave them a digital copy of the book in advance. Some people you can actually even mail them a copy of the book in advance too. You can do that as well. Obviously, there's a little bit more of an expense tied to that. You gave them access to a course. Perhaps maybe one of those bonuses is access to a private group. And you could even create swipe files, so like pre-made graphics and captions, and say, listen, if you're up for it, would you be willing to share, during launch week that my book is now available for sale? Would you post this to your, on your social platforms? And a lot of times people will say yes. It's just asking, right? And the fact that you're already providing, here's the pre-written captions, here's the graphics for you, right? As business owners, we're always looking for content to post.
Yes, yes. And I love the fact you're like, just make it simple for them. Do it all for them, create it, just give it to them and let them post it, right? Very
Exactly.
simple. I love that. I love it. Oh my goodness, Patty. So we have come halfway through this episode, right? Which means it's time for the Make Your Mark challenge. So
Oh,
just for anybody that doesn't know what the Make Your Mark challenge is, um, so this is a concept that actually came across with another friend of mine, right? His name is Hirsch. He's amazing. He talks about branding and things like that. And it was something that he did, a quiz that he did on his podcast. And I was like, oh my God, Hirsch, this is amazing. I'm so taking it. He goes, take it, copy it, just do it, right? So I'm like, awesome. And so the Make Your Mark challenge really is, when we get on podcasts, right, whether you're guesting or you're a podcaster yourself, you're really trying to make your mark in the world. Even as an entrepreneur and business owner, you're making your mark in the world. And so, especially for authors as well, that's one of the reasons why they publish a book. And so, the Make Your Mark challenge for you, Patty, today, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be giving you 30 seconds, right? It's going to be timed, 30 seconds. And you got to name as many different brands as you know that have already made their mark that we know on an everyday basis. It could be, something in your office. It could be something you use at home. It could be anything. The brands that we have come to love on a daily basis that have already made their mark, right? I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Just shout them out. I'm going to start tallying them up. Right? And then what happens is at the end of the season, right, which is 12 episodes, whoever has the highest named brands will then get a gift from me.
oh my gosh. Okay.
Right. But the only thing that I do ask is no Googling, right?
No, I'm not Googling.
No Googling. So,
Hands.
right. So I'm just getting the timer up. And so just shout them out,
Okay.
right? And I will be tallying them up. And then I'll let you know when time's up and let you know how many brands that you actually got to mention in 30 seconds.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Right? Okay, are
Okay.
you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay, let's start the clock. One, two, three.
Okay. Zoom, Loom, Canva, Zapier, FG Funnels, Apple. Can I say Google? We said Google. Oh my gosh. HP. Um, oh my gosh. I try to think like, what do I use? I'm looking around. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm gonna start thinking like Pepsi, Sephora.
Time's up. There we
I
go.
failed. I did not do well.
No, do you know what? It's funny because we know so many brands, right? There's endless names that we come across every single day, even in our homes. And then, but when you put on the spot and you've been given a few seconds to name them, is that, oh my goodness, your mind just goes blank, right? So let me
It's
just
so
tally up how
funny.
many you've got.
What, 5?
No, you've got 10.
Oh, did I really say 10?
Yes,
Wow.
you
Oh, I did
actually
better than I
mentioned
thought.
10. So that was pretty cool. Definitely. Oh my goodness. So like I said, once I've done this for the next 12 guests, the next season, I will let everyone know, send out an email, let everyone know what their scores were, who are the top 3 and who is the number 1 winner, right? So do keep a lookout for that, but it's going to be a little while yet because it is at the end of the season that we do this.
Oh
But
my
I
goodness.
like to do this just kind of little fun, little competition, right? Um,
I feel like I can come up with 10 more now.
right? This is it, right? When you're put under pressure, right? It's a whole completely different story. You can't think of anything. But no, that was amazing. Awesome, awesome. Thank you for taking part with that, Patty.
Absolutely.
But let's continue with the episode and talk about more about book marketing. But so regards to book marketing, I mean, why is it even essential? Or is it even essential for a business owner and entrepreneur to publish a book?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a lot of people will tell you that books will actually help you get on stages, right? It builds credibility. People think that you have authority. If you're able to put your thoughts, ideas, and words onto several hundred pages, right? That's impressive. You've got something to teach there, right? So yeah, absolutely. It is so important. I would say that, if you're a coach, if you have something proprietary that you are, teaching to other people, you're selling this, you're making money with it. Yeah, put it into books. We all consume content differently. Some of us like to watch it, right? Some of us like to read it. Some of us like to listen to it. This actually is a good exercise, even when it comes to publishing your book, because like I mentioned before, right? Sometimes people like to read book on e-readers. Some people want to hold it physically. So make your book available in multiple formats, have it available on hardcover, on paperback, on the Kindle or e-reader, turn it into a course, do an Audible for it, right? How many times are we on a drive and we're like, oh, I've got a couple hours to drive. What a great time to listen to that book I've been wanting to read, but I just haven't had time. I'll listen to it. So, yes, I mean, books will just help open doors for you is a great way, I think, to look at it.
Nice. And Patty, you've mentioned this several times now. And what I'm hearing is you don't have to recreate, just repurpose what you already have, right? Like you've mentioned, you can turn it into a course, you can turn it into a lead magnet, whatever it is, just repurpose the information that you already have. I think people get really stuck in like, oh my God, I got to recreate. I got to recreate. What kind of book am I going to, create? What am I going to say? What am I going to do? All that. And so when it comes to repurposing, Is that something that you help with as well?
So I don't really, where I come in is I really try to think about how we can use your book to set it up for your business so that you can actually make money with your book. Because, like I said before, you're not going to make a lot of money from book sales alone, but we can position it so that you make money with your book. There are agencies out there or people out there that can help you create, audible versions or turn your book into a course. Or vice versa, help you take your course into a book. But it's also things that, if you're up for it and you've got the time, it's easily done yourself. But yeah, as far as the different formats are available, a lot of times the publishers will support you with those pieces of it.
Okay. And so I'm just wondering, so is there any kind of hidden secrets, people that don't really talk about when it comes to marketing your book that we should really know? Is there anything behind the scenes that people don't really know that they should know when it
Yeah.
comes to marketing the book?
Yeah. So one thing, we can almost thank COVID for this. There's not a lot of things we can thank COVID for, but this is one of them. So the use of the QR code became common with COVID.
Mhm.
And, you think about it, when you have a book, when people are reading a book, you are trying to change lives, and perhaps you're trying to help people take that next step and do something different or implement new tools and tactics, whether it be something like meditations to journaling to mindset, right? It could be anything. What I encourage my authors to do is, why don't you drop a QR code in your book? And again, you're going to fan gate it. There's a couple reasons for why you want to do that. One, books get left on planes, trains, in the airports. We leave them places. Books get passed along. I can't tell you how many managers have shared books with me, or the company bought books for all of us. We share books with friends and neighbors. We have little libraries. And so books do get passed along. And so by dropping a QR code there, now you're able to identify who's reading your book. Now, same thing, when people scan that QR code, I want it to come to an opt-in page. So again, you're able to identify the name and email address for whoever is reading your book. After they enter their information, now I want you to give value. So, and you're going to give that call to action, scan this QR code to get access to meditations, to journal prompts, to yoga exercises, right? Mindset exercises, to workbooks, downloadable worksheets. I always want to say, definitely make it valuable. Don't just put something out there. We talked earlier about that know, like, and trust factor. If you're leading with value, if you're over delivering, if you're giving that element of surprise and delight, people are going to think, wow, not only did I get this book, but this author put this QR code in that gave me access to this 20-page workbook of all these different, exercises or steps or checklists or things I can do to help receive that transformation I want.
Mhm.
Now they're getting to know, like, and trust you because you're really serving them. And now you've collected their information. So you want to start to nurture them, continue serving them. But now when you've got that next thing to sell, they've already trust you, right? They've consumed your content. They've learned a little bit about you through your words. You've given them extra value. So now when you're ready to sell, when you're ready to offer that next thing, they're open to receiving it, right? They trust you. They hopefully like you.
Okay, that is amazing. Okay. You see, at this point, I know Patty people are thinking, oh my goodness, how do I get hold of her? How do I connect with Patty? Because I need help with my book. So, where can people go to connect with you to find out more and to find out more about what you do so you can help them with their books?
Yeah, the best place is to visit me on my website. It's pattizorr.com. That's Patty with an I. I tried to buy that URL, it's taken.
Oh no.
I know, right? Pattizorr.com, Zorr. And I actually have a 12-page best-selling book launch marketing checklist. It's the same checklist I use with all of my clients and authors. So I know a lot of times authors say, like, I just don't even know where to start when it comes to marketing my book. That checklist is free. It will help you give that jumping off point so you'll know exactly what you need to do to get started. And again, it's the same list I use with my clients. It's 12 pages. So I practice what I preach. I wanted to give a ton of value in there and really just help you take those first steps so that you can start marketing your book.
Amazing, amazing, guys. Listen, all the links, the freebie that Patti just mentioned will all be in the show notes below. So if you missed anything, please go down to the show notes, scroll down, make sure you go ahead and get that freebie. If you're having troubles with writing your book, or marketing your book, any of that kind of stuff, make sure that you reach out to Patti ASAP and learn from her. Now, Patti, before we come to the end of this episode, you are a marketing expert. You have been marketing for a number of years, right? In different kind of pathways. Now, why have you chosen guest podcasting, right, as one of your marketing tools to kind of get out there, educate, and promote your business?
Yeah. So I'm going to actually lead with, if you are writing a book, authors should be podcasting like crazy. And for the same reasons I'm going to say right now, one, there's huge SEO value in that. Two, they last forever. Podcasts stick around forever. So like I said before, once you have a book, you're always marketing your book. So somebody 3 years from now could come back and listen to your podcast, that you're doing today. It lives on forever and ever. So SEO value, it's great content to repurpose, right? So you're going to share it across your platforms. When this is done, I'm going to share it across my platform. So we're helping each other's. And there's so many different ways to repurpose it, whether it's through, video, audio, static posts, and you can repurpose it again and again and again, right? You don't have to just post it once and then walk away. Same thing. It's content that you can share in your platforms over and over. So, and you created it once.
Right. There you go. All about repurposing it and kind of using, I guess, multiple different channels, right? So you got the social media, get on podcasts, right? And then most of the time, I know I do, podcasters will send you videos and audiograms and graphics that you can post on your social media. Again, people will see you as, oh my goodness, she's everywhere. She's speaking, she's a speaker, she's on podcasts. So it builds that authority as well, right? So
Absolutely.
that's awesome. Thank you so much, Patti, for coming on the show. It was amazing to have you. So many golden nuggets in such a short amount of time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank you so much for having me. I just love talking about this stuff. So,
and we can tell it does truly come out when you're talking about it for sure. Thanks again. Thanks for listening to Make Your Mark podcast at www.makeyourmarkpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you in advance for all the reviews and comments. I appreciate it so much, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.